My vocal warm-ups is being like, uh-oh, what, uh-oh.
Welcome to
CryptTeaze Family Fun Night.
3, 2. Hey everybody, I'm Chase Will,
I'm Liz Liner.
I'm Monty Adams.
and this is CryptTeaze Family Fun Night. Today we're joined by Dylan Mars Greenberg.
Hi.
He's a writer, director, actor, Troma baby, and singer-songwriter. Dylan, today we're talking about Guy Maddin's film 1997, right? Careful?
1992, actually.
I saw it online.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 1992, if IMDb is correct. Yeah, it says on the back of the VHS, 1992, right here.
There we go.
It's 100 minutes, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I've got it right here on tape.
Now, Monty had some questions about that because before the podcast, we were talking about it, kind of going through our thoughts. And Monty said, the fact that's one of their favorite movies, I have some questions.
Oh, it's like everyone's favorite movie kind of shines a light on who they are as a person. So that movie is kind of trippy. I had very much the one scene from the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where they're going through the tunnel and everything.
Yeah, it's basically like a scary tunnel, but it's like the whole movie.
Yes. So like, what would you say that what part of you does this movie bring out or signify, I guess you could say?
I would say that it brings out the part of me that's also very much like the scary tunnel from Willy Wonka. I actually, when I auditioned to play Trini in the new Troma movie, Shakespeare's Shitstorm, my first monologue that I did for the audition I chose to do was the Willy Wonka scary tunnel monologue.
Oh my god.
And including like I collapsed on the floor like screaming at the end.
Oh my God.
Nice.
One of my
Fuck
favorite
yeah.
iconic scenes ever.
Yeah, and it was great because it gave me the opportunity to like memorize that whole monologue.
Oh yeah.
Not to get off topic, but evidently I read somewhere that entire scene only, I'm forgetting who played
Gene
Willy
Wilder.
Wonka. Only Gene Wilder knew what was going on in that scene. So everyone else's reaction was completely authentic.
That's awesome. That's
Which is
great.
kind of fucked up considering the child actors, but still, that
Who
scene
cares?
is just
A little bit over it.
fuck
Childhood is
them
fucking
kids. Nah.
You think that's the most terrifying thing a child in the 70s would see? Come on, man. Watergate happened.
The underwear commercials.
Oh, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
So starting off talking about Careful, Guy Maddin's film from 1992. Guy Maddin, he's a Canadian filmmaker and novelist from Winnipeg, Manitoba, in Canada, of course. He's had 12 feature films, and I read online somewhere that a lot of his films actually started as art installation projects.
That's true.
Can you talk about that a little bit, Dylan? You know more about him than I do, honestly.
Well, I mean, I know his most recent, or it's actually at this point it's not his most recent movie, but his movie, I think it came out in 2016, The Forbidden Room, which is another one of my favorite movies. That started as, I think it was like an interactive project where people could actually come onto the set. The set was open to the public and people could watch them film. And it was like part of this, and it was like a multimedia project. So yeah, I mean, I think there are multiple of his movies that had that setup where I think people could come in and watch them being made, and that was like part, like it's like you're watching a performance, and the performance is them filming the movie. And I know The Forbidden Room also, there's, if you go on, I think there's a website you can go on that's totally free where you basically can watch, it's a variation on The Forbidden Room, and I think there's some new scenes added, and it's called Seances, and an algorithm actually shuffles the scenes and reworks them, so every single time you watch, they're in a different order, and it creates a different story.
Oh, well.
Huh.
It's like a...
And that's totally free online.
Adventure.
What?
It says kind of like one of those choose your own adventure books.
It's like Don't Choose Your Own Adventure.
Because it's completely random.
Yeah, it's completely random. You can't choose it. The computer chooses it.
That's pretty
The-
cool.
The illusion of choice.
Yes.
Oh, Dylan, I've seen most of your movies, and I love them. The first one I saw
Thank
actually
you.
was, I think, was it 5 or 6 years ago? I watched Dark Prism.
Dark
when it first-
Prism?
Yeah.
Well, since you saw that, you've been a total champion of my work, and you've really been instrumental in getting my shit out there, and I'm really grateful to you. And that's why, I'm basically down to do anything that you do, any podcast, any project. You've really supported me through the years.
Well, I guess what I love about your work is that you go places a lot of like early directors don't. Everybody wants to play it safe. Everybody wants to play it careful.
Yeah, I don't play it safe. Oh, well, I want to play careful on my VCR.
I want to see like the video game adaptation of Careful, just to know what that would be.
I would love if there was a video game. I would love if there was like a Super Nintendo game of Careful. Like it inexplicably became like really popular. Like how like RoboCop got like a Saturday morning cartoon show. And there was like a Saturday morning cartoon movie like show of Careful in like a video game.
Like so many side quests, like get the love potion ready, cut off your fingers,
Yes.
burn your lips.
Yeah.
Like this movie really surprised me, and I'm a hard one to surprise because I feel like I've seen just about everything.
Guy Maddin's a really surprising, incredible director.
Yeah. His big thing too, he likes silent films a lot. I read. Were any of Guy Maddin's films silent films?
I don't know if he's ever made. Well, no, I think he's made some completely silent films. I don't remember if Brand Upon the Brain is completely silent. I think a lot of his movies, he'll have them be like partially silent and then partially with sound. Like The Forbidden Room will have scenes that are just title cards and then other scenes with sound, and it goes back and forth. I'm pretty sure I've seen some shorts of his that are completely silent, and I think Cowards Bend the Knee from the early 2000s, that one might be completely silent. I don't remember. There also might be like a part where someone says something like kind of just to shock you. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like he goes back and forth. And I think it's interesting because especially when you're watching The Forbidden Room, the movie lends itself so much to being a silent film that you don't actually even think about like when there's title cards versus sound. It almost feels like second nature, like back and forth. Like eventually you just get used to it and you almost are imagining the sounds, or it feels like you watched a whole silent film. Like it all kind of blends together.
Now, the movie Careful, how did you come to find this movie?
How did I come to find it? I think I got really into his stuff because I think I saw like some internet reviewer review. Maybe it was The Saddest Music in the World. No, I saw an internet reviewer review Twilight of the Ice Nymphs. And I don't know why, but I didn't even watch that one first. That's another movie he made. I didn't even watch that one first. I just like came upon Careful when I was a teenager, and I rented it on like my parents' like Netflix DVD thing, and it just like blew me the fuck away. And I was just like, I'm gonna watch every fucking movie that this guy's made. Like this fucking rules.
And drink every time Dylan says "fuck you guys."
Oh,
Yeah, every time I say the F word, my dad actually like takes away $1 of my allowance. My dad's like watching this right now, like fuming. Like I just got a text from my dad that's like, if you say the F word on this one more time, like you're not allowed to watch classic movies like ever again.
No.
high stakes.
It's really high stakes, yeah. It's really hard for me to not say the F word.
Now, Lucas, you had some thoughts on this movie. What was your favorite part overall?
Oh, I had thoughts. Like full disclosure, when Chase like sent this to us and was like, "Yeah, this is the movie we're gonna do for this episode," I was like, "This looks really out there." And at first, I was like, "I don't know if I really want to check this out," but then I'm like, "You know what? I'm kind of the same boat as Chase. It's like I want to be surprised by this," and boy was I. In my notes I had, I don't know why I made this association, but I felt like a lot of this was shot with like drag race season 1 filter, but way before its time, where it looked like Vaseline was over the camera.
It does look like there's Vaseline on the lens. Yeah.
Was that something
It
they
was
did?
so like
Yeah.
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 They would use Vaseline, or sometimes they'd use a prism to reflect the light back into the lens.
I feel like they might have done both of those for this movie.
Probably.
I can see it. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I mean, I enjoyed the look of it. It was unique. I can say that. I've not seen anything like it. And it was so surreal and so out there that I was like, I kind of have to stick around to see where this goes. Like,
You have to, yeah.
Like, about 20 minutes in, I'm like, this is weird as shit. But I'm in. Like, I'm in. I came to play. Let's just see this. And
Absolutely.
Monty, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was kind of interesting because it definitely had a parental trend over the entire movie. Like this infatuation with their parents. Obsession.
And like authority.
Right.
What?
I also thought it was interesting that even though the movie was filmed in '92, it had it definitely paid homage back to when color TV was first a thing. It had almost a original Bram Stoker's black and white Dracula type feel to it.
It definitely feels kind of like that. I would also say it feels more of like an homage to not color television, but like when color film was first invented.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you said color TV.
I like too how it's would you call this an expressionist movie? Because that's what I thought of as soon as I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like it feels like there's a lot of like German expressionist sets. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say this is like an expressionist movie. I also, one of the reasons I chose this, besides the fact that it's one of my favorite movies, is because obviously I know a lot of you guys are horror people, and there's a lot of overlap between Guy Maddin and the horror world. Guy Maddin produced the show Divorced Dad for Astron 6. And speaking of Astron 6, this guy from the movie, the main guy, plays the police chief in Father's Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
nice.
And I think there's a few Guy Maddin actors who are in Astron 6 stuff, and I think Guy Maddin and Astron 6 collaborate a lot. Guy Maddin also has a history of collaborating with a lot of actors like Udo Kier and it's the guy Jason Patrick, the guy from the Lost Boys. He starred in this movie Keyhole. He's the older brother in the Lost Boys, and he starred in Keyhole.
Oh shit, I don't know.
Him and Udo Kier together were in Keyhole, and that's a great movie.
That was funny too. Like the characters in this movie were so it was strange in a good way. Like the baby in the first scene who lost its eye from a pin, and then the other eye from a clock. I was like,
yeah.
I never laughed so hard at a one-eyed baby with a pirate patch.
No, definitely, yeah. It's really cruel. Like it's like kind of almost unnecessarily cruel, but like in like a way that is like pretty enjoyable.
Cruelty can be funny. Some people really like that.
Definitely.
Movies.
I mean, and there's a lot of reasons why I also feel like Careful is, a horror movie in many ways. I mean, I feel like it portrays a lot of the same themes of like violence and authority that like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari does. And I think and that's why I think it's so cool that it uses that same German expressionist style. And honestly, if you didn't know any better, you might really think it was from like the 20s or the 30s. But he has all these resources that you wouldn't have had back then to augment it and to make it like different. And that's what I do love when people use throwback formats and, outdated, technology to make things, because they still have information to them that's available now. So it creates something that's a lot more in depth to me than just like a nostalgia piece. Although that's one of the main criticisms of Guy Maddin, is that his stuff is just like pure like nostalgia, and it's like a gimmick and it's kitsch because of the fact that he uses like old film and stuff.
I feel like if somebody watches the first scene and they're like not on board, they're not going to be on board for the rest. I mean, it's like Freddy Got Fingered. You either love it or you hate it. Yeah, that's kind of what I like about it too. Is like right away if this is your movie or not. Like if you watch the movie and you're not there for the first minute or so, you're not going to be in after that.
Well, Chase, now that you've seen this, and I know that you're such a big fan of like Dark Prism and stuff, do you see the influence?
I do. I was actually going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
How did the influence you as a filmmaker starting out?
Well, I knew that I couldn't obviously do exactly what Guy Maddin's doing because I don't have the budget for like film. Although I think now he does use digital video as of like 2010. I think for his features, he just can't afford to shoot on film anymore, but he uses digital effects to create the feeling of film. That's what I think, at least. I could be wrong. But yeah, I guess I was like, I feel like I want to try and do a lot of what he's doing, but with video. And I got really into, especially by my second feature film, Wakers, I got really into double exposures and having some scenes in monochrome and some scenes just tinted. And even though it's done with digital, I feel like there's still a reason why they did that, you know, in the time periods where they did that, like in the silent film era, there's a reason why they tinted those certain scenes. It's to convey a certain mood. So I feel like I like to experiment with turning the footage monochrome and then tinting it one color or isolating one color and, you know, seeing what that looks like, because even with digital, it can still create a certain mood. I think especially like when I made like Dark Prism, and I mean still now, but around that time, two of my biggest influences were Ryan Trecarton, who is another very out there video artist, and Guy Maddin, who are two very, very different artists. Ryan Trecarton is very much into digital video, digital everything. He will accentuate the digital aspect of things to look like overly digital, to kind of shove in your face like this was shot on like digital cameras. We want you to feel like you're almost like looking into like this like internet like dystopia. And then Guy Maddin, whose stuff is the opposite of that, and it almost feels like his stuff was made in a world where computers don't even exist. So I kind of like the idea of marrying those two aesthetics, where I like making something look both really obviously digital and then suddenly like it's like you're watching something from like 100 years ago.
It's a really interesting way of presenting it too. I mean, not just because of the juxtaposition between like different styles, but also because like you don't see it in other movies. Like nobody takes the time to make the presentation, you know, mean more than the story. Because I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but like to me, the story kind of took a backseat to the presentation, and I like that in this circumstance.
Are you talking about Careful or Dark Prism?
Oh, Careful.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, I mean, it's definitely visuals over story. I do think the story is pretty interesting, but there's definitely, if the story wasn't filmed the right way, it could have been like really lame and like boring. Like, I mean, it's similar to Suspiria to me, because Suspiria is at its core is a pretty simple plot that could easily have just been like a B movie about witches, but it's not. It's a masterpiece.
I have to ask, Suspiria, there are two versions, very different versions. Which one do you like better?
Oh, you mean like the remake and the original?
Yeah, because they're both very different.
I feel like it's just what you said. They're both so different. I feel like I can't really compare one to the other. But I think that if anything, they both lend themselves to each other so nicely. I think they'd be perfect to watch as like a double feature.
Yeah.
You know? I think the original has incredible visuals, and without the original, the remake wouldn't exist. But the new one is so great because it expands on the original, and I like that it expands on the original without just becoming like an origin story. It becomes its own entity, and I think it does everything that a remake should do, where it really like definitely hardcore respects the original, but it also does its own thing and expands on the original in places, or maybe the original could honestly use a little bit more explanation or padding without just over explaining it.
Whoa! Are you ready to do the CryptTeaze shuffle? And 1 and 2 subscribe, 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 and 1 and 2 subscribe. Subscribe!
This movie would be, I feel, a hard sell. Like, if you were presenting this movie as a director trying to sell it to the studio, you would really have to be on top of your game. How would you guys sell this movie? Lucas,
how would I sell Careful?
Yeah.
Well, it's shot on film, first of all. And I mean, you know, it has a lot of production value. I mean, it was, in fact, you know, it was distributed by Kino Video and Zeitgeist. So clearly, you know, they were interested. And if you look at the kinds of movies that actually, I think a lot of movies that Kino Video distributes are old films and like silent films. I think Kino has done a lot of restorations of old silent films. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Guy Maddin being, I mean, you know, he's lucky. I honestly, I do think the fact that he grew up he's a Canadian citizen, worked in his favor, as I think it worked in David Cronenberg's favor, because they're two very weird directors, and their first features were both funded primarily by the Canadian Film Board, because, you know, they were trying to fund new and different thinking filmmakers. And yeah, if they were American citizens, you know, who knows, they might not have had the same success, because Americans don't really care about art, they care about like football.
Yeah. You would have to have like every other line be something sports related.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I mean, it would just, it's just like they don't, you know, there's not the same support for the arts that there is in other countries here in America.
Yeah.
Because it's a very commercial capitalist place. And I think Canada is a little bit less so.
Lucas, how would you sell this movie?
Oh, no way, I do have a drink.
How would I sell this movie? Oh, God.
Like, if you had to have like a log line, what would your log line be?
I would go with instantly quotable, because I found a lot of the lines, like a lot of my notes are like some of the different, like, just some of the dialogue, just between just the non sequiturs, like in the beginning, like, I thought I'd die. Your eyes are so blue. I was like, what the hell is going on here? It was such a weird follow-up to that.
Or like that weird horn solo he plays. I was like, that is the most obnoxious sound ever, but I get it.
I mean, I would say, honestly, the quotes on the VHS cover really do it. I mean, Village Voice called it visually gorgeous and laugh out loud funny from beginning to end, which I do think is true. It is like pretty funny.
Yeah. I can agree with that. Yeah.
And I like that. And that's another thing I like about this movie is that it never, every time you think it's going to start taking itself too seriously, it throws you a curveball. And it's simultaneously 100% an art house film, and it steps into that, but it manages to be unpretentious because it's able to laugh at itself and laugh at how absurd it is. And also the second quote in here is also true. It's dazzlingly funny, and it's a one-of-a-kind wonder, which is true. It's just like you'll never see a movie like you'd never confuse this for another movie.
Yeah, no, that's...
I feel like if you were like a dance club, this would be one of those movies playing in the background on the small TV with snow.
Oh, shit,
yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I want to go to that kind of club.
They probably have you're in New York City still, right?
Yeah, but there's no clubs. They're all COVID.
Oh, yeah.
They're all closed down. No, but yeah, there were. I mean, I've been to clubs where they've played like some dope art films. Usually ones I recognize, and occasionally my own movies.
I mean, as far as what color scheme goes, not so much style. Sam's definitely played some of that over at the club.
Yeah.
puts
It'd
it
be
out
fun
as a
to
video.
sample too. Like if you're making a nice club song, it'd be really like sample worthy.
Definitely.
Speaking of music, let's talk about your band a bit, Theophobia. Tell people about it.
Sure. Well, we we describe ourselves as if Meatloaf went to art school.
I'm sold.
We're very, our stuff is very like operatic and theatrical, but we also have a kind of poppy synth driven sound as well. So it's very much a mix of like 70s glam rock and like kind of more like I guess kind of like artsier, like kind of like art pop bands from like the 80s and beyond. Like we're really into Sparks, if any of you guys know about Sparks. Actually, going back to Guy Maddin, Sparks is actually in his movie The Forbidden Room. They're great. They're both of me and my guitarists are our favorite band. But anyway, they have a song that you've probably heard before if you've ever. It's in Kick-Ass, called "This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us." So next time you watch it, keep an eye out for that one, and then you'll probably be like, "Oh, I know that song." We're basically like a synth pop / glam rock band, and we just did the theme song for the new Troma movie, which I also co-star in, Shakespeare's Shitstorm, and the music video just dropped today on Dread Central.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I saw that. Awesome stuff.
I'm excited for Shakespeare Shitstorm because I remember a couple years ago Lloyd was announcing it. Now he was really sold right away.
Yep, it's done.
The Tempest, right?
Yes, it's Troma's The Tempest. Yeah, it's the spiritual sequel to Romeo and Juliet.
So tell me what's going on with you guys. Just did Return to Nukem High not long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean it took a really long time to finish, but yeah, that was done. I mean, I feel like that was finished like maybe 3 years ago. And yeah, I did a lot of the post-production on that, and I have a tiny little cameo role in it. But yeah, Shitstorm was the first time I got to really show off my acting prowess, which is mostly like shrieking and making like silly faces. And I get covered in a lot of shit, like gallons.
Now, how much shit would you say is in this movie? It's called Shakespeare's Shitstorm.
I would definitely say like at least like 100 gallons of shit are in this movie. Yeah, this movie has so much like liquid diarrhea shit in it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, it's like unbelievable.
It's funny
That
how
is
some
a big
horror
pile of
directors
shit.
are like, there are like 40 gallons of blood in this movie, and Lloyd Kaufman's like, holding my beer, gonna make something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it goes beyond. It's beyond, and also the beginning mostly is shit, and it's like more like gross out humor, and then the last act of the movie makes up for the lack of gore by just showing you basically like the most gore you might ever see like in one scene. Like the most like mutant, like just disgusting, like unbelievable like shit you could like ever imagine, like in like the fucking like nth circle of hell.
Oh god.
Yeah, and the special effects, the gore and mutating effects are by Eric Fox, who did the effects for Kuso, if anyone knows about that.
I have.
That's a very notorious, disgusting movie. I also love that movie, and it's the same special effects artist, Eric Fox.
Ooh.
And also the star of Kuso, the Buttress, is she appears in my new film as well, my new feature film that'll be coming out soon, Spirit Riser.
Okay. Well, when's that gonna be released?
Hopefully, sometime soon in 2021. We're basically done. I mean, it's all shot. It's almost all edited. So it's just a matter of getting all the sound mix.
COVID.
What?
I said thanks, COVID.
Yeah, it definitely would have been out sooner if it weren't for COVID. But between basically COVID happened, and I was like, well, there's no way this shit is coming out anytime soon, and there's some stuff I really want to fine tune this, so I might as well, get it really solid. It's also a long as fuck movie. It's like 2 hours 30 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
And with Spirit Riser, I wanted to. Oh yeah, I said the F word. Yeah.
I feel like such a pussy right now. You guys are drinking hard stuff. I have a White Claw.
I have
You
pineapple
think that's
cider.
bad?
You talk about
You think that's bad? I'm drinking kombucha.
Ooh. Fucked up right
say
there.
like I just have branding. I just have like a pineapple cider. Like I'm not hard here, Chase, like at all.
And there's Monty with his freaking absinthe.
That's Monty with his ass.
Show off. Actually, I gotta open another one.
Uh-oh.
It's a 2-beer kind of show.
So if you guys were to recast this movie, for like if they were to remake this movie for modern audiences, who would you see cast in the main roles, and who would direct?
I would definitely cast Caleb Landry Jones because I feel like he's weird enough to pull it off. Caleb Landry Jones, FKA Twigs, maybe, Isabella Rossellini is actually in a lot of Guy Maddin movies. She just isn't in
Oh
this.
shit! Okay.
But she would have been perfect as the mother. It almost makes me wonder if he was trying to get Isabella Rossellini to play the mom and then went with a different actress because she was busy, because she's been in tons of his movies. Like she's in all, like I would say after Careful, actually, she's almost in like every Guy Maddin movie. Who else would I get to be in it? I don't know. Yeah, the main people that immediately come to my mind are Caleb Landry Jones and FKA Twigs, because I just think they'd both completely fit right into that world.
I would see like Ari Aster directing it at least. I don't know who.
Ari Aster could totally pull it off, and I would be super surprised if Ari Aster isn't a Guy Maddin fan.
I could definitely see this being an A24 movie, if anything.
I was also just talking about how I think it would be so great if Ari Aster directed a remake of Twilight.
Oh yeah, like make an actual bloodthirsty vampires.
Yeah, like make it actually like legitimately like really like unsettling and like fucked up. I think that would be like incredible.
I want him to have the budget to hire back the 2 main leads and to do that whole redo thing, make it all bloody and gory like actual vampires.
But it's still with Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart. Yeah, actually, that would be pretty fucking funny because Robert Pattinson especially is now like kind of the A24 like sweetheart.
Yeah, like, he's actually a really good actor. I was surprised.
Oh, he's great. He fucking rules.
He's
yeah,
really
he fucking
good.
rules. The Lighthouse killed.
Oh, drink.
Oh no. Getting drunk off fuck. Lucas, who'd you see in this movie?
I have 2 that I could see, and very different personalities. For whatever reason, I see Bill Skarsgård.
Definitely.
And I don't know who I would put him in as, but he's just so quirky and weird.
Totally.
The other one I
see,
see, the other one I see, and I could honestly see either him being in the movie or him being in an SNL skit, is Dana Carvey.
Ah, yeah.
Huh. That's weird. I never considered Dana Carvey in this, but that would be pretty. That'd be pretty fun.
Weird as shit, and if anybody could make it work and be able to, to have this film taken, that it's not taken seriously, it's not meant to be. That's the wording I wanted. But just I don't know. I see him playing. I could see him as Grigoris. I could see that as as the butler's son.
Yeah, that makes sense. He could be the butler's son. Although I feel like he's a little too old, right?
Well, Dana Carvey now, yeah, but like that was 92.
90s Dana Carvey?
Yeah, like what that was right around the time Wayne's World came out. Like that could be.
I thought Chase was saying like actors like now, like if you're in a remake.
Yeah, modern day actors. Although it does bring me on the tangent, what's it going to be like when time machines are invented and you're a director casting a movie?
I don't know if they're going to let directors do shit like that with time machines, because I have a theory that time machines are already invented and they're like, we're not gonna let these motherfuckers know that time machines are real. Like, these motherfuckers are gonna fuck shit up if they know that time machines are real.
Oh, God.
Right.
I see what you're doing.
Oh, God. Did it again.
There was
Oh,
3
yeah.
in that little tirade. That's 2 for
There's
me.
4?
3.
Oh, Jesus.
My dad told me that
fuck,
I'm
man.
grounded for the rest of my life because of this.
Oh, God.
You're fucked. No.
Monty, who would you have in this?
Because just the movie's so over the top in some ways. It's kind of hard to cast because you need actors that can be dead serious. It's almost like kind of a dry humor in some ways because they're dead serious, but it's very extreme. I could see some of the whoever's still alive from it because I know some of the actors have died, but some of the same actors from Princess Bride could probably play this off.
Oh,
Let's see that.
yeah. Carrie Yules would be like perfect in this movie, actually.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. That would be.
Also,
Princess Bride has
Wallace Shawn would be a great Count Knockers.
Yes.
Between the two movies, even though they're so drastically different, they do have, in some ways, have a similar vibe.
They totally have a similar vibe.
I would see, what was his name? Bill Hader. I would see him as the guy with the 2 eye patches. Given those,
Bill Hader, yeah, totally. That could work.
he has
I
that
wanna
terrific
take-
dry humor.
I want to take my answer back about Dana Carvey. Have him be the dad. Have him be the dad. That what's his
Yes,
name?
Dana Carvey could be the dad. That would be awesome.
I would
I
say
can
have
also-
him
Although
be
I
the
like
dad.
could see Dana Carvey at this point in his career working with Guy Maddin. Like realistically.
Like, what the fuck does he have to lose? I mean,
Not much.
I could because I feel like Guy Maddin works with a lot of like former like kind of big TV actors who are now like, you know, not like quite as big as they were. Like, and he often mixes them with like people who are like strictly like art house people. Like Isabella Rossellini, I feel like just has like that like art house cred, but it'll be like her with like Udo Kier, who will be in like he'll be in like a Lars von Trier movie, but then he'll also be in like I think he was in like Dracula 3000 with like Coolio. Like he'll just be in like, you know, such a variety of movies.
Arguably the best Dracula movie.
Yeah.
No.
you can argue about it.
No.
To lose.
It's not Dracula 2000. It's Dracula 3000. I think it's Udo Kier, Casper Von Dien, and Coolio. I'm pretty sure that's the cast.
That was definitely a movie. It was definitely a movie.
Yeah.
It qualifies as a movie.
I would actually see Lars von Trier directing this. Either him or Ari Aster I would see taking the remake on.
They could
Very
totally
different
do a
films.
remake. It would be so weird just in general if there was a remake of this. That would be so bizarre to me. But like, who knows, you know? Maybe like Hollywood will just run out of shit to remake and they'll be like, fuck it, let's just remake a Guy Maddin movie. Like, what do we fucking have to lose?
I would see Shia LaBeouf as the main role. Him or
I can't see him anymore as the main role. He's kind of fucked.
Wait, what do you do now?
Well, FK Twigs just came out saying that he like mercilessly beat her, and then several other of his girlfriends were like, "Oh yeah, Shia LaBeouf beat the shit out of me."
Oh wow, I completely missed that. I take back my answer.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if I don't know how soon he's getting cast and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Another one I was thinking that could probably do this because it's so over the top and dramatic is Shatner. Shatner could take a role in this.
I guess Shatner could be the Count Knockers.
I would watch that.
I'd watch it if Shatner played every character.
Oh dear.
Oh god.
like as old as he is now, playing like every single character, including like, the mother.
I would see that.
And not even well done, just like a wig thrown on. And
Yeah.
Nerf
Just
football.
like
for-
just the
Tits.
worst bus driver wig. Just go.
Totally.
He would definitely make. There was that one scene. It was the least erotic 2 girls in a bath scene I've ever seen in my life. He would definitely make that one.
Start with my face, rub hard. Like, I lost my shit at that line. I'm 24 years old, and I was 12 in that moment, and I don't even give a shit.
I'm 12 years old now.
I think the good line too was "Purity sickens me." I feel like that should be on a shirt.
He already sickens me. Yeah, that's good. That's a good line.
So, if you guys just see this as a video game, what would the side quests be? Because I definitely see there being a lot. Because it's got, like, what, 4 acts in this movie?
Mhm.
Yeah, something like that.
Could break it up like Final Fantasy VII style, like 1 disc per act.
I could see like a mini game, honestly, like, and it'd be kind of twisted. Like you'd have to work in the morgue, you know, puncturing people's hearts, or you
Oh yeah.
like a game
Oh,
to not miss or something like that. And then you'd have like the animal's vocal cords were cut, so like it'd be like Operation, you know.
This game would be like Candy Crush for weird people like me.
Yeah.
And now, courtesy of Dylan Mars Greenberg, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the music of Theophobia.
If I cross now too, see I regret nothing when I'm with you. Why won't you throw me a line? I've got a question for you. Will you still love me when I'm through? I said, are you okay? And you said, what did I just say? I tried to say you were right, but you had faded away. You left a note with a bouquet. With the light forever luminous. Will you love me when I'm dead? Think I'm gonna scream. Gonna take you on a date. Dad was a tad insane. I knew him for years, but he never remembered my name. He'd fall, I'd tell him count to 10. keep on counting, but he's never getting back up again. You broke the law. We agreed on your silence, but all you ever do is talk. Son, you're getting 5%. Well, you'll be up for parole, but you're never getting back out again. You're like the inside of a lava lamp, always burning, always burning. You're the god of war. What are you fighting for? What are you fighting for, my love? What are you fighting for, my love? Man, I think I'm in a jam. Well, I had a dream when I didn't know who I am. You're a crook, you're a cop, you're a bad piece of work. You're insane, the flame, you're a dick and a jerk. And I saw it, why? Cause I'm tired of you. And I know you hate it when we're screaming and there's nothing we can do. It's like the time we went to the puppet show. Always punching, always lunging. You're the god of war. What are you fighting for? What are you fighting for, my love? What are you fighting for, my love? Times you'd be running with a knife, but you're the god of life. Take my final advice, take my parting advice, my love. Love thy neighbor and you'll be loved.
I just got my PS5 today. Check it out.
Oh shit!
Here it is.
Wow, I love that model. It's so
The
retro.
brand new PS5. It's got 700 NES games in it.
Eventually, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be, you know, we're so advanced with our technology. It's all retro now. You can't even tell it's PS5. It looks just
That's
like
true.
NES. Which one? What would the alternate title for this movie be? Because my alternate title was Johann the Nasty Little Fuckboy.
Oh, that's good. I mean, like real or like joke?
Either.
Yes.
I mean, this movie's got that kind of humor where you can't like take it too seriously. It's almost
Like the silent village, like
Yeah.
incest in a silent village. I don't know. I feel like if it was an Italian movie, the title would be like incest in the silent village or something, or like lust in the quiet town. Like I feel like Italian movies have to start with some sort of hook word like lust or like erotic, and then go into like and then like tell you the place where the erotic thing is happening.
Oral in the gondola. Or gangbang in the gondola.
Don't rock the boat.
It's really good. Monty, you had some stuff about the movie you wanted to talk about. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. The town seemed very brainwashed. So I'm wondering how many generations that this clause of "be careful" And like, why didn't they just move the village or something instead of just living in this impending doom of an avalanche? You know,
Nowhere else to go, man.
I kind of saw
Well,
it as like a political statement. It seemed like in this movie, being careful was similar to being imprisoned, where you're being so careful, you're always following the rules, and they have control because of the threat of something bad happening if you take chances, if you speak your mind, or if you make too much noise.
Right. But I mean, it was one of those things, like there were so many other ways to solve the problem. Why did they pick that particular way? Just to do all these absurd, you know, like I said, puncturing the people's hearts and cutting the vocal cords, and like they were shooting the geese. And I thought that was interesting after the Count duel. They shot the geese out of the sky, and you could hear the geese, but you didn't hear the gunshots. The gunshots are going to be louder than them geese, you know.
Well, if silence is what they're going for, I think like bow and arrow would be the way to go.
They got a
Right,
silence
right.
filter on the gun.
Yeah, on the musket, the muzzle-loader musket.
Get
That's another thing that
revolutionary.
Guy
if it's-
Maddin has in a lot of his movies is he has like made up inventions.
Right.
Like
That's a good
I
vibe.
think in Keyhole there's like this weird like tube apparatus that people are able to communicate with. I think a few of his movies have those where it's like people kind of look through like periscopes and viewfinders and are able to see themselves, which is something that I also kind of took from his movies, and I use those in my movies as well.
Would you guys call this a coming-of-age film? Because that's kind of how I saw it as.
A very dark one.
Yeah. Well, we need
it's-
dark coming-of-age films.
That's true. Yeah, Stand By Me.
It's like the perks of being a careful wallflower.
Oh.
I don't know if it'd be a coming of age film. I guess it would be. I would say it's more. I guess coming of age, loss of innocence, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
Loss of innocence
Kind of
and
a-
fingers. Dylan, do you have anything you want to add before we wrap up?
No, other than I think that everyone should watch this movie. And yeah, and the Shitstorm music video is out as of today. As when this video comes out, it'll be out as of several days ago. And yeah, I'd like to hope that people will check that out. And got a new movie coming out soon, and it's narrated by Michael Madsen, and Whitney Moore from Birdemic is in it, and she plays the arch villain. And the Bowling Sisters are in it, and Amanda Flowers from Shitstorm and Dark Prism is the star, and it's going to be great. And yeah, I don't know. I have like so many projects to plug. I like don't even. I feel like I can't keep going. Like
We'll just have like the running list down the screen of what Dylan has coming up.
I've always people are like, is there something you want to plug? And I'm like, fuck, I've got like fucking 20 projects coming out like all at the same time. Like I'm always doing like mad shit.
Well, for people to find you, where can they find you on social media?
That's a good idea. Dylan Mars Greenberg on Instagram is probably the best place to follow me. And on Facebook, I have a Facebook page, Dylan Mars Greenberg. My Twitter handle is VHS Camera. You can find me there. And yeah.
Well, Dylan, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a great time. I found a movie
Thank
I
you so
might
much.
never have seen otherwise.
Awesome.
That is a gift on its own. So thank you so much, everybody. This has been CryptTeaze Family Fun Night. We'll join you next time.
Bye, guys. Thank you.